Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. Hope all of you are doing well. Thank you guys for jumping on this training. Hopefully you're just as excited as I am about these weekly trainings that we're going to be having each week for you guys specifically in my market. I know I'm excited. I know this today was really important for me specifically because I feel as if, based on the numbers that I analyze on Spa Central every day, I just basically wanted to take what I noticed as a market, what we were weakest in and needed to improve in, and that is going to usually be the telltale reason as to why we're covering specific topics on the specific weeks that we have them. So welcome, and again, thank you for attending. Hopefully you guys will get enough out of this to be able to take this back to your spas, take it to your staffs, and really drive home some retail sales, right? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. And just one last reminder to mute your phones just in case there's any background noises and you are in the spa. We don't want to have any interruptions throughout the training. So let's talk about retail. I think it's super important for all of us to be able to understand the whole concept of the revenue category itself. It's often misunderstood for let's just drive in some retail sales, and a lot of times we'll notice our spa consultants are discounting our retail products way too much just so that we can hit our retail goals, right? We're always talking about we have to hit our goal, and we need to pay attention, close attention to this category because it can be deceiving, especially to a consultant. And for those of you out there who are spa directors, who are actual leaders, and you have staffs that you bring on board, that you train, or even if you're doing refreshing training, or if you're a new spa director yourself, it's super important to understand the basics of this specific category because it can be very tricky, and it can actually turn from a revenue category to something that a franchisee is actually paying for. And what I mean by that is this breakdown that we're going to go through right here, understanding retail. We need to know the facts, we need to understand it, and be 125% sure when we're training our staffs on what this entire category brings to the table for our franchisees. And it is also important to know the profit and the cost to the franchisee as well. Now, based on what we've researched, when it comes to your revenue categories, it's broken down. Now, many of you seasoned franchisees and spa directors do know that usually this is how you typically base your goals each month, most of you anyway. You'll base your goals based on 50% of your revenue being your net EFT, your draft, 25% of that being membership cash, and 25% of that being retail. That's typically how the breakdown works, and it usually looks a little bit like this. We always talk here at Planet Beach at corporate when we're consulting our spas that it's important to get your net EFT up. You'll hear us talk so much about we're in the red appointment business. It's so important to bring your draft up and make sure you're maintaining your draft each month. And we typically drive that point home so much that the other revenue categories typically seem to be like, well, let the chips fall where they may, right? That'll just come naturally when you get new members. But it is a very big misconception because what's happening, and many of you can probably relate, what's happening across the board, there is a trend of consultants that are so obsessed with getting new members, with selling programs, right, that they get so excited at the sale and they completely forget to give them their retail that they're going to need. And what happens a month later? You have a conversation with that member to find out that they've been using red light therapy and not using any PB Renew with it. Well, what are they doing for themselves? Laying underneath a light bulb. So they're not getting results. And what happens after that is when it comes down for them personally to cut costs in their own budgets, Planet Beach then becomes disposable. They don't need it. Because why? They're not really seeing great results with it. I mean, that girl at the counter that I see every week, when I go in there, she's cute and all. I love going in there, but I can afford to get rid of them because guess what? I still have stretch marks. So it's really important to understand how that relates with member retention as well as your sales. Now, please note that this research, just want to make a point here that I'm not saying that this has to be what you guys are setting your goals to be each month. We're not saying you have to have it to be 25%, 25%, and 50%, right? We're not saying that that's what you should be doing. That's just across the board based on our research that we've done in our accounting department That's usually what our spas, mainly our top spas, are divvying out among their revenue categories. So also, it's not required. We're not saying set your goals this way. It's just based on past year's research. But thought it was important for you guys to understand that, to know that, and get that knowledge. If you're bringing specific revenue in more so in Memcash than retail, it's quite all right as long as you're hitting your specific goals that you set for your spa. A couple of reasons why this is important, like I just discussed. Obviously, revenue for the spa, right? It brings in revenue. It's another category. It's important that you are selling your products and that you have all the new products in your spa, especially if you have other locations that surround you that are carrying these products and you aren't. The member gets the results that you discussed during your tours and consultations. Don't be a liar, guys. It's important that when you're sitting there trying to sell a program to these new prospective members, you're saying this service will provide this to you. This service will provide these results for you. Based on your personal spa profile, right, this member has skincare issues. Well, when I put you in these services, you're not going to see these results that I'm sitting here promising you the world with if you're not using these products to enhance those results, to expedite those results, to actually see results. So you don't want to be made a liar and then the last, worst case scenario, you go and check out your Yelp reviews and you see people saying, no, I laughed. Those girls, those guys, whoever at this specific spa told me that I could look like Cindy Crawford using this stuff. It's been 3 months and I look the same, right? So you don't want to be made out to be a liar. So it's very important that when you have these consultations and you're having these tours, you're incorporating this is this specific service. Now, for this service, what we're going to do is we're going to pair you up with this product because this is how you're going to see these results. It's very important to incorporate that in your tour. That way, for a couple of different reasons. A, they understand off the bat that they're going to need to use specific products in order for these services to provide those results. But B, you're not going to bombard them at the podium, at your counters, whenever you're ringing them up for their new program, and then you drop in different products. And then they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what are you talking about? You didn't say anything about there being any products, right? So avoid a customer service issue by all costs. Another important reason, member retention. We kind of tapped into that just now. Your net EFT, right? Your results, it keeps them coming back. Drawings, enter to win, keeps them engaged, keeps relationships strong. Continued sales, retail referral sales. There are plenty of times where your members they're walking around with your stamp on them, right? Oh my gosh, your skin looks amazing. What have you been doing? Oh my gosh, did you just whiten your teeth? Or are you using a different toothpaste? No, I'm using Planet Beach stuff, right? So there's a lot of people that you might not even realize your members are buying products for gifts, or even sending in there just to buy specific products. So that's a couple of reasons why it's important, but mainly, like we discussed earlier, when it comes down to your specific members looking and analyzing their personal budgets, and they have to start cutting costs in their personal budget, you then become disposable. So it's important to be a priority for these members, to show them these results, and that's what keeps them coming back. So I want to provide a little example for you guys, just to break this down a little bit further in case you have consultants that are on the call that, are specifically trying to strengthen this area in their consulting. So let's just say, we're going to use, for example, today's retail goal is $145. Well, what does that mean? $145 to bring in. That doesn't mean sell 50 products at 75% off just to hit the $145 mark. The most, without a doubt, hands down, misconception across the board. And it's simple for me to say as a spa director, okay, Amy, your goal today is $40. Sue, your goal here is $20, and Adam, your goal is $15. Do whatever you need to do, but sell that much in retail. I'm not going to specifically say that. I'm also going to follow up, right? And many of you know about SMART goals. We talk about SMART goals a lot, the acronym, the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based, right? SMART goals are important, especially in these little huddles. Okay, you have to sell $49 in retail today, Amy. So what that means is that's one PB renew, really. Or if you want to follow the product of the week promotion that we're doing right now, and you have to do the 30% off or the 25% off. That's not just one PB renew, right? That's a couple of different things. So let's take a look at the appointment book. We have such and such coming in at this time. Right after that, Mr. Joe's coming in. After that, Miss Mary's coming in. They're using this. Here, these are the products to sell to them. Do not take any more than X amount % off of these products, or else we are not going to be successful in hitting this goal. That's a fake $145 goal. It's a false result, and it's going to cost the franchisee in the end. As a spa director, you're set to receive compensation based on the sales in the spa. So for those of you who are spa directors on this call, here's your WIFM. Here's what's in it for you. If you're set to receive a specific bonus, specific compensation based on the sales of the spa, in many of you have your compensation guide set up this way. You get the net EFT at this dollar amount, you get bonus this much. If the retail sales are at this dollar amount for the spa, you get X % of the retail revenue for the month, right? So you know that in order for you to make money, the spa's got to make money. So if you're set to receive compensation based on the sales of the spa and no money is made, or worse, the franchisee's losing money due to extreme discounting, what I mean by that is it's going to cost a franchisee $11 for a cleanse, or almost $12 for a cleanse, and you mark that down 50, 55, 60% off, which many of you might be shaking your heads going, there's no way I would do that. But when the cat is away, I promise you, you don't have any idea how important this is. If you're spending $12 on a product and they mark it down and they're selling it for $11, but at the end of the day, you hit your retail goal, franchisee, it came out of your pocket. So what's going to happen, spa directors, whenever it goes down, it comes time for your evaluation. You're evaluated to receive a raise. We're going through your performance. We're going through your evaluation. It's just crazy because we're hitting numbers and our accountants cannot figure it out. We're hitting numbers, but I'm not bringing in enough money to be able to give you this raise. So I'm sorry, I apologize, but I'm not going to be able to do that. You lose spa directors. Spa directors are confused themselves. They're not informed. They're not educated on how this works. So perfect example as to why you spa directors on the call need to pay attention to this. I took a screenshot of this for you so that way whenever you get on Orion later on and you're digging around in the products and equipment folder, I highly, highly recommend write this down, make it a task to do at the end of this call. Do not wait because you will forget, I promise you, because I know how busy you guys get in the spa. Don't wait to do this. After we hang up, go look for this document. It is probably going to be a lifesaver when it comes to not just day-to-day tasks, but especially for MAP that you have at the end of each month whenever it comes down for you guys, discounting and running promotions or specials on specific items. It's important to know this is the product margins spreadsheet. It is available, like I said, in Orion in the products and equipment department folder. You can see exactly how much the franchisee pays and how much we're recommending the MSRP price to be. And you can even see the profit margins. This right here is going to save your life. Spa directors. This will help you understand whenever you are communicating those goals to your staff. It's going to help you really understand if we take this much off, then this is how much the franchisee stands to profit. So look for this. This is what it looks like. And if you have questions about this, again, just reach out to me. I'll help you look for it or I'll send it to you without a problem. Although we just looked at the profit margins for retail, you guys need to know that is still not in the bank once you ring it up. Danielle, what are you talking about? You just said that this is the profit margins. I just saw the sheet. What are you even saying right now? Okay, well, what am I saying? That's not it. That's not it. Whenever you ring up a product, specifically in Spa Intel, there's a ton of other costs associated with it. So we're about to break that down for you guys, and hopefully you're paying attention. And write these things down, especially if you know for a fact you are going to forget things. You're in the middle of the spa right now. You're probably going to have to set a service, and maybe you're not paying too close attention to this as I'm doing it in real time, but it's important that you drill this into your brains. First thing you have to incorporate whenever you're looking at what you're really bringing in the bank when you're selling retail. What was the franchisee's cost to buy the product? Well, we just looked at that, right? We just saw that on the products margins sheet. You're going to know that whenever you analyze this before you give goals out, right? Well, next I want you guys to incorporate the 2 to 4% credit card merchant fees per transaction. Now, it's a broad statistic here, but that's all based on what type of card it is. So our credit card merchants that we're using in our spas right now, FPN, they charge a different percentage per transaction for a credit card transaction sale based on if it's an American Express card, a Visa card, a MasterCard, Discover card. So it ranges anywhere between 2 and 4%. That's huge. So 2 to 4% of whatever that dollar amount that you're ringing up right now for that PB Renew is coming out of that. Then you need to subtract your employee's commission. So what is your commission structure for your spa? Is it a flat 5% of each sale? Is it a sliding scale? Sell up. So you need to sell up to $600 in retail before you can even achieve an X amount percentage of this, right? So you need to subtract employee commissions out of that because the franchisee's got to pay for it. Also, franchisees pay royalties each month. For those spa directors on the call or consultants on the call that may not know this, I thought it was important to include this because you do need to understand that. Every month, whatever your total in the bank that you guys clear, you take home, it goes into the spa's bank account, that dollar amount that's in there, that is getting charged a royalty fee from Planet Beach Corporate. So they're paying royalties out on their total sales at the end of each month, which includes that one PB Renew sale that we're talking about. And then there are some other costs affiliated with it as well, just depending on the specific spa situation. After we incorporate all this, that's what's left over. That's what's money in the bank. I know you guys love my animations. Isn't that scary? So now that you understand it, now that you get it, right? Now that you know what all of the costs associated with it is, now that you understand the retail revenue category itself, why it's important to pay attention to it, we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 types of retail consumers of Planet Beach. Guys, this is really, really important because the way that you approach a conversation or a consultation or a sale in general about a product to consumer type A, it's going to be a completely different approach than you're going to have with consumer type B. And I can guarantee you that if you have your staffs with the same approach to each and every type of consumer, they are not going to have 100% success. Well, we're not going to have 100% success every time anyway. And if we do, that's a unicorn, and I want to locate this person, and I want to study them. But let's go over this a little bit. Let's talk about the different types that we have across the board. And, I use the term easy loosely here just because I'm putting it in order of how simplified it is to approach the discussion with them. First, we have the new member. Okay, they're eager, they're excited, they're the yes man. These are the people that you sold on the services. They're excited about getting in these services. They're excited about the results they're going to achieve. They trust you because you built that relationship to trust you, and you established that off the bat, right? That's the new member. Real quick, another reminder for you guys. Hit *6 on your phone. That way we don't have background noises because I think somebody's still unmuted and we want to go ahead and mute that so we don't have any interruptions. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's our first type of retail consumer, that new excited member. Then we have the new customer. Now, for those of you who are consultants or spa directors that are new or older spa directors may not have ever heard this before, there is a difference between a member and a customer. A member is somebody who is an EFT member with you each month. They have a program with you that you collect membership dues from. So that's a member. A customer, on the other hand, they are more of a temporary. They have an expiration date stamped on them. They purchase sessions. Maybe they purchase paid in full packages, 1, 3, 6 month, 12 month, 24 month, whatever they are. Those are customers, right? Ones that they do expire. So there's always an urgency to turn those over into members. So what type of consumer are they? Well, they're excited. They're semi-excited though, because why? They're not as excited as the member because they were not sold enough on you as a spa, as a consultant, to make a commitment to you to pay those dues each month, right? To stay with you for 24 months or longer. But they are excited to a degree and they're willing to listen to you. I'll hear you out, but I've been using the service for however many months, right? And I'm just fine. I'm okay with my results. It doesn't matter to me either way that we go, if it gets better, if it gets less, whatever, right? That's that consumer. Then we have the veteran member. I don't want to say the older member because that could be offensive to some. But we have the veteran member. They're loyal to you. These are the ones that I remember I used to love. My birthday would come around, they'd bring me brownies, presents, they'd, oh my gosh, Danielle, how are you? They'd sit there sometimes and they won't even use their service, right? They'll come in, they'll talk for so long, they'll miss their appointment, and then you'll try to remind them and they'll say, you know what, I'll just come back, right? And they're paying you each month to do that. That's the veteran member, right? Or your brand ambassador, the one that's actually bringing in referrals left and right. They're loyal to you. They're willing to hear you no matter what time of day it is, and they understand the why. The why is something that's super important that you need to remember in your consultative sales, because we always discuss the what. We always discuss this is what it is. This is the program. This is the product. This is what's in the product, right? And that's usually the most common misconception in our sales processes across the board in Planet Beach. We have so much loaded up information in our brains, and we get brain dumped all the time with the what, that we don't talk about the why. Here's why it's important. Here's how you can use this to your advantage, right? So that's the value that we're losing in any sale across the board, not just retail. So, but the veteran, on the other hand, they already understand this. They already get the why. If I'm going to go to this specific veteran who's been loyal to me for 2 months, hey, listen, we're getting a new product in next week. We're super excited about it. It's going to go along with our red light therapy service. And I know that that's something that you use all the time. So do you want me to go ahead and get this pre-sold for you so we can reserve one? Or do you want me to check back with you next week? How do you want me to handle this? Because we're definitely going to get you set up on that. If you're a Facebook group member in the market, you know that you saw the image on the back, and many of you probably scratched your head to it. The cover photo image for this specific training, where it's selling or telling, not selling. And you're thinking to yourself, what? I thought this was a sales webinar. That's a perfect example of telling. That's something that you need to tell this veteran member, that you need to tell this new customer, this new member. You need to talk to them and tell them this is what you need. Right? And that what happens in return, it turns into a sale itself. So then we have our fourth consumer prototype, and that's the veteran customer. And many of you seasoned locations on this call are thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, I know exactly who you're talking about. These are the ones that just, for some reason, they're loyal to you. They keep coming back, but they're just not sold on being committed to you. They don't want to give you their account information. They don't want to say, oh, I'm going to stay with you for 24 months, even though they've been purchasing a 1 month for 25 months, right? Oh, I don't know if I'm going to stay here that long. Oh, I might move. And they give you every objection in the book as to why they're not going to stay with you. This is the veteran customer, the one that keeps coming back, that will always go to you. They may have even referred a couple of people to you, but they just still are not making that commitment. Each consumer type will require different consulting approaches. And we said this once, twice, maybe even 3 times early on, but please know that each and every individual person is going to be completely different whenever you make that approach at that conversation. So we just talked a little bit about training on the how, right? Not just the what. All of it has to do with your approach, you guys. It's so important, and many of you might have taken the REDS training webinars. Maybe some of you have probably come to franchisee school to hear me talk about the approach, to hear Jessica talk about the approach, and a couple of other of us that are in the department talk about this. But this right here alone, if you approach me specifically as a consumer in a way that I don't deem fit, that I don't see is coming at me to help me, is more so coming at me to sell me on something, and I'm just a number, no matter what's going to come out of your mouth after you approach me, I'm shut down, okay? And I'm a consumer. I'm speaking on an Eileen behalf here, people. So just take that into consideration whenever you are training your staff, whenever you are in the spa. What do you look like? What do you sound like? It all comes down to, did you even put makeup on today? Did you fix your hair today? Are you having a good day? Is it exuding in the way that you're carrying yourself in the spa? If you look like a train wreck, if you're standing behind the counter and texting somebody, if your hair's thrown up in a bun, if you look like you just went out for 13 hours the entire night before, and you're hemming and hawing, and you're talking about how stressed out you are to your bed cleaner, right? If you're going through all those motions, and then you see someone standing by the counters, and you go up to them and say, hey, were you interested in any products, any lotions today? that's probably not going to be the best approach. I'm probably going to look at you and go, well, not if you're using any of these products, right? So that's why it's even important to consider the way that you look, your appearance, right? But your approach can even be in your words. The approach to you is not going to be an open-ended question. That's going to be the last thing that you want to do, right? You want to just talk to them. You know, I know something's catching your eye. I see you standing over here. Which one is it? Is it this one? Because I know that just rolled out 2 weeks ago and I already bought 3 bottles myself, right? So that approach versus the other one is probably going to get you a lot further. So are you selling or are you informing? Which one are you doing? Because I can guarantee you probably about 90% of you guys right now, you guys are salespeople. You guys are selling, or you're trying to, because you're not really selling anything right now. That's why you're on this webinar. Consulting. Consulting is key, guys. We always talk about being spa consultants. More importantly, do they trust you? That's key, because it's like I just said. If I look like a mess when I go in there and I'm telling you that this product's going to make you look amazing, what do you know? And we always talk about this in the trainings, right? You've probably heard this before, but I'm going to just go ahead and drive this point home to the people that have never heard this before or received this training. Consider yourself going to get your hair done. If you see somebody that's in there that you're set, you have an appointment that's going to actually be fixing your hair that looks like they were attacked by a weed eater, are you going to trust them with your hair? What about going to get your makeup done for a special event, for prom, for a sorority formal? Guys, really quick, can you please mute your phone, whoever it is that, and I'm not sure, you can hit *6 by doing so. Sorry. Okay. But more importantly, do they trust you? Okay. So we're talking about getting your makeup done, right, for a formal. Well, what if you see somebody that's got eyeliner going across their forehead or across the side of their face, and they're wearing like the most god awful color of lip shade, or maybe they have it all over their teeth, or maybe they have clumpy mascara? You gonna sit down in front of them? Are you going to really let them touch your face? I hope that the answer to that's no. Typically because you don't want to end up walking out of there looking like them. So do they trust you? Have you been taking salesy approaches to them each time? If you notice people shut down or instantly say, I'm not buying anything today, they don't trust you because for some reason, one way, shape, or form or another, their perception is your reality. And at some point you have tried to sell them on something and you've come across way too pushy. That, my friends, is why we talk about consulting so much. And even consider, most of you have your consultants in there, and many of you don't wear name badges. Here's why I'm a big advocate on name badges. Now, Danielle, there's turnover in my spa. I'm not going to be spending all this money on name badges, right? Because, chances are this person's going to leave after semester's over and they're moving in with their boyfriend, or, they're running away to another city, another state, whatever the case might be. I don't want to spend that money. But another big reason why I'm just a big advocate about it is because I feel as if whenever I get approached by somebody who's got a badge on where it specifically says they're a consultant, I'm not going to be so guarded whenever they're discussing products with me because I don't think that they're a sales associate, right? It clearly says on the name badge, spa consultant. So if this consultant starts asking me how I'm doing with my results, how are you enjoying this service? How are you loving this service? Because you look amazing. Are you finding that you're getting your results quick enough? I know you mentioned to me last week you were going on a cruise. Are you feeling ready yet? Do you feel prepared? No? Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go ahead and get you set up with this, and this. And I promise you're going to be a lot closer to goal. If not, you'll hit that goal by the time you get on that boat. Right? So I'm going to probably be more receptive when I see it. You're making the invisible visible and it's on their smock. It says spa consultant. I'm not going to be you're just trying to sell me on something, right? So that's another little tip that I could probably provide to you guys as franchisees or spa directors. Maybe consider doing that, putting that in place. You're supposed to have the badges anyway, but we know most of you probably don't. Just make it a point. Give it a shot. That might help you. It'll definitely help you, but try to put that in place if you can as soon as possible. So for those of you who are saying or confused right now, selling versus consulting, what are the differences? I mean, at the end of the end goal is you're selling something, right? So I don't understand. Well, I'm going to give you a couple examples, and here are some. Car salesman. That is a salesperson. That is a selling example, right? Fragrance counter girls. I know that you guys probably, if you've ever been on any trainings I've done specifically, I have a crazy negative obsession with the fragrance counter girls that will chase you down in a department store. Like it will seriously look like I am training for the military when I go to a department store in the mall. That is how I try to avoid. I will army crawl under tables. Those girls chase me down. Have you tried this? Have you tried this? No, I don't want to. Leave me alone. I came in here to get a pair of socks from Journeys. So no, I don't want to smell your fragrance. I'm sure it smells nice, but no, that's a sale. That is a selling example. They're pushing it on you. Mall stand hair makeup companies, eyebrow waxing. I know you guys have seen this in your local malls. They have stands in the middle of the malls, and literally they will chase you from one side of the mall to the other if they see you, right? Oh, that looks like our target demographic. Oh, have you ever tried this hair straightening product that makes your hair so silky smooth? Sit down here, sit down. We're gonna do this for you. No thanks. That's pushy. You're trying to sell me something, and I know that, and I realize that, and I'm not gonna want to be around you. I'm not going to want to come back to you because you're just annoying me at this point, right? And that's what you guys have to think about. That is a salesperson that I want nothing to do with. You're just trying to take my money. And then another example is telemarketers. Obviously, nobody on this call, I know for a fact, likes telemarketers, right? Your perception from their actions. They deaf ear you too much. Now, deaf earing in a consultation is almost a necessity to some extent, right? Deaf earring is important because we know sometimes we have to pull that trick in order for them to see the results that we're saying, and they might not see it based on how we're being perceived. Okay, if I'm explaining to you, here's the benefits of getting this program, it makes more sense financially. But it also provides you with, you get all these benefits versus if you buy this paid in full, you can't do any of that and you're actually spending more, right? If they're still having objections, sometimes you need to use deaf earrings so that way you can continue to drive the point home about the value. But a salesperson is only a deaf ear person. They do it too much and they never ever ask you what you want. They never ask you the questions. The only questions that they ask you possibly is to what are they going to use in turn to be able to get you to switch from your product to theirs, right? So another perception that you have from their actions, they don't have any shame in chasing you down, literally. And this goes into the story I was telling you about in the mall, the fragrance girls, the hair stand, the makeup, whatever, eyebrows, the people that you see in those little kiosks in the mall, they will chase you down. They'll make you feel uncomfortable, forced to listen at least. And we know that a lot of consumers out there are the non-confrontational type of consumers. Non-confrontational meaning I'm going to sit here and be nice because my mom she taught me manners. But I'm not in my head. I'm going to smile at you because I'm just not going to be rude. It's just not in my makeup to be that way. And so I'm just going to nod, smile, listen to what you have to say and say, you know what, I'll think about it. And then I'll walk away and I will never go back to that part of the mall again. And then what you want really doesn't matter to them. You're a commission. You're a dollar sign. When you walk nearby them, they see like a little animated cloud over your head. There's a dollar sign just floating above your head right now. Like that's all that they see. They don't really care if this works for you. They don't really care if you like it. If you buy it, there's a no return policy. Sorry, you purchased it. You already opened the bottle. You've already used this. We're sorry, you can't do that. Oh, we may exchange something for you at equal or lesser value, but if it's of any more value, you're going to have to give us money. They don't really care. It doesn't matter to them, and they understand that exudes in their approach. They don't really care about that. So those are some selling examples. Now here's some consulting examples just to distinguish the two for you. Department store makeup counters. Obviously, makeup counter girls, they're selling products as well, just like the fragrance counters. So why is this any different, Danielle? Why is this any different than the fragrance counter girls? Well, first of all, they're not chasing you with blush. They're not chasing you with lip gloss and saying you need this, right? They are performing different makeup consultations. They are doing makeup on people. They're asking questions. What are you currently using? What's your current skincare regime, right? Because they have to ask those questions in order to be able to sell you on their product. They know that their products sell themselves, so that's why they offer, let me go ahead and put this shade of eyeshadow on you. Let me go ahead and put this shade of lip gloss on you guys. Let me go ahead and show you what this looks like, right? And then they show you, they put the mirror in your face. Look how amazing you look. Oh my gosh, they use good power words that you've heard of before. That's why they're consultants, because you know what's going to happen after that? they're going to go, okay, give me 3 bottles of that. Or they're going to come back after they get paid next week and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, is Amy here? Because I need to get that. No, I want Amy because she did my face. She made me look amazing. I want this product and I only want it from Amy. So that's a consultant. That's a perfect example. Fitness assessments is another perfect example. Whenever people go in to get their initial fitness assessment in the health club, in the gym, we're in a health driven society right now, guys. And I don't know if you've noticed that, but gyms are getting more and more populated. We're noticing more and more people are becoming bodybuilders on, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have, on Facebook, on Instagram. Everybody's competing these days, right? Bodybuilders are just blowing up everywhere. Gyms are popping up on every corner and everybody's eating right? Everybody's eating healthy. I mean, we even have a nutrition line. Now we've crossed into nutrition, shakes, detox programs, all the works. So fitness assessments are key. People are going in there looking for a result. So whenever you go to a gym, if you have a gym that offers personal training and you get an initial fitness assessment, even if you don't, I actually almost want you guys, if you're paying attention, to write it down, make it a task. Say, you know what, I want to go to this specific gym that offers personal training, and I want to watch how this person assesses me. The entire time, and I've done this because I've done it for research purposes for sales, the entire time, I talked the entire time. All they did was ask me questions and nod their head. And literally when it came down time for him to say, okay, well, here you go. Based on what you answered, this is what you need. Okay. And lo and behold, I went in there for research and I wound up getting it and not even realizing it until I got in my car. So that's a perfect example of consulting. He didn't have to sell anything to me. I didn't have to go on Yelp or Google reviews or Facebook and say, oh my God, don't go here because they're so pushy and annoying. I got what I wanted, I got what I needed, and I didn't even really want it in the first place. So it's important. Questionnaires, profiles. We have this, personal spa profile. That's a consulting example, just like we talked about the fitness assessment. You're answering questions on a piece of paper to where if you give me an objection later, you can just apologize and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was just going based on what you were answering here. You know, as a consultant, my job is to analyze this and compute results out. Just like a kiosk, basically. So it's a perfect example of consulting, having that weapon, having that there for them to be able to answer questions that you may or may not remember. Beauticians at upscale salons, mainly, they're perfect consultants, right? You go there, and their big thing is your experience, right? Now, we've all been to Supercuts in one way, shape, or form with our little brothers or our cousins or our moms or dads, but then we've also, hopefully at this point, I'm assuming, have all experienced what it's like to go and get our hair groomed. And when I say that, I mean you walk in down to the music. Some places, I know my specific hairdresser, you know, I have my choice of mimosa or wine, sit there, she'll talk, she'll ask me questions about my hair, you know, what's going on with it, you know, it's looking a little ratchet these days, what are you doing to it, which products are you using, are you out of the stuff that I gave you last time, and they're asking these questions and literally they're answering me saying, well, here's how you can avoid having this problem next time you sit in this chair. Here's how you can keep this look when you leave out of here. Here's how you can continue to have this look every day when I can't be there for you, right? So they're consulting. They're the perfect example. So pay attention, guys on the call. Pay close attention next time you go and get your hair done by your specific hairdresser if they are along these same similar lines, and pay a little bit of attention and try to pick their brains too. I'm always a big advocate on that. Steal what other people are doing. Use it to your benefit. That way you make more money. Personal trainers kind of ties in with fitness assessments. Nutritionists, right? Pharmacists, a lot of the times pharmacists, you can go there and ask them questions on what's going to help heighten, you know, your results. You're using this vitamin, you know, you can talk to them about that. That's consulting examples. And pharmacists are not salespeople, but they're also giving goals, guys. I don't know if you know that or not, but a pharmacist that works at Walgreens, they have daily goals to hit. So it's super important that you even go to Walgreens or CVS when you get off today and try to just go talk to them and tell them about the current vitamins that you're using and watch what they do. Turn it around. Well, are you using this with that? Did you know that using this in conjunction with using that will actually heighten your results and make you feel like twice as better, twice as quicker, and it'll help you lose weight at the same time? Like, it'll blow your mind because you had no idea pharmacists can do that. Couple of different ideas and perceptions from those specific consulting actions. You're answering their questions based on their questions that they have. You're giving them the right direction based on what they need. Hey guys, can you mute your phone by hitting *6 for me, please? I'm sorry, I just don't want to have any kind of interruption. You know what? I think I can actually do that. Perfect. Yep. Okay. I think I just muted it, and I don't think they were hearing me. But another perception from their actions, they know your end goal, and they compute, provide solutions, products to help you in meeting those in hitting those goals and meeting your needs. Right? You know that their jobs are to assist you by telling you what you are or aren't doing or using incorrectly. And you're sold based on their confidence and the knowledge of the product and service, right? Whenever you think about these situations that we were just now going through, if you've experienced it, if you're nodding your head going, yeah, you know what, I know what she's talking about. Think back to the time that they sold you on something, and remember their delivery. Remember their confidence in the delivery. Remember how they just said, oh yeah, no problem. You know what, that I know now based on what you just told me. Now I know what the problem's been. Let's go ahead and get you set up on this. Think back to that, because that's the approach. So we're going to go through this consumer type 1, the new member. The tools that you use when you're selling in retail. Now, guys, I want you to pay attention. If you fell asleep on me for a little bit, it's time to wake back up, because this is going to be super important if you're ready to make changes in your spa. Consumer type 1, the new member. Here are some tools to use when you're selling any retail to this member. Skincare consultation forms. Now, all forms are included in the skincare consultation are available in Orion, and I did list the steps here for you. So I hope you're taking a look at the screen. You go into Orion, Spa Performance and Education, Product Sales, Skincare Consultations folders, and you'll see all of those documents. Skincare consultation forms. If you have or have not heard of this ever before, it doesn't matter. Just do this, because you're going to understand what this is by the end of this training. The Products and Service Regime Form Builder. That is also something that we just put a new training video together for. Is it available yet? What? For Products and Services Regime Form Builder. Okay, we're in the middle of editing it right now, but we just put a training together for it. If you want to get specific training on it, reach out to me. That's my job. I'm here to help you guys. But in the meantime, we are going to have a training that's being edited right now and released, and that's basically the document that computes out for you to be able to give them a piece of paper saying you need to do this in conjunction, use these products. So it helps with the entire sales process. Testimonials book, you have to have that. It's important, because there's only so many things that you can sell based on how you specifically and physically look, right? If you are 20 years old and you're approaching a 53-year-old, more mature lady, and you talk to her about understanding that, it's the struggle is real about wrinkles, right? She's going to look at you and she's going to probably get almost offended. Like, how dare you talk to me when you have gorgeous skin? Get away from me. So it's not going to work on everybody. It's why it's important to have a testimonials binder. And the best and easiest way to do that, do an entire campaign this week. If you really are serious about increasing retail sales, write this down. Run an entire campaign this week to incentivize your current members and customers that are using services that have seen results to do before and after pictures. Put deadlines in place if you need to. Say, if you just started using this service, let's get a picture of you now. Take it for them. Let's get a picture of you now, because I can't wait to see what the results are going to provide, and we're going to check back in a week, 2 weeks, however long it's going to take. But using the Products and Service Regime Form Builder, understanding they need to come back on certain days using certain products, that's going to help assist in them following through with that specific campaign as well. So also, if you have anybody that's already done it before, that might be even more helpful, because it's more of an immediate thing. They're members that have been using stuff for a while, they'll have pictures of themselves from a few months ago or a year ago that they can give to you and incentivize them and say, we're going to give you a free product of your choice if you provide us with a testimonial before and after picture with a little, and incentivize them a little bit more if they even want to write a little blurb about it. Like, before using this product, I felt this way, that way, or I looked this way or that way, and now I can't live without it. Kind of incentivize them with a second tier of something to give to them for doing so for you. But without this, guys, I could sit here all day and talk about, the meal replacement shakes, the Indulge. And for those of you who know me on the call, you're like, Danielle, you're like 100 pounds soaking wet. Like, you're really going to try and sell me on weight loss? That's not going to work. So keep that in mind. Also, their completed personal spa profile from their tour, their PSP. Those are the different documents you need when you're selling retail to the new member. If you don't do personal spa profiles, I'm shaking my finger at you. But B, have them fill one out, setting up a skincare consultation with them with all of these different documents and a PSP so you can go ahead and collect one from them. It's never too late to get one. As a matter of fact, you should probably do it every 3 months anyway. So if you've not performed or used any of the above tools in your tour or your sale of the program to the new member, you must find the time to schedule them at least 20 minutes before their very next service appointment to do so. So guys, managers, pull a list of your new member reports from Spot Intel. It is available. Filter your dates, pull it up, see exactly who sold who. Break this down. Did anybody do a personal spot profile? Did anybody do a products and service regime form builder? Now, we have people that have opinions about all of these documents and all of these forms that I've heard 1,000 times. I used to be where you're at. However, the importance of this is the proof's going to be in the pudding, I promise you. When they fill that out, you have to speak barely anything, and they're going to be buying stuff. So be sure that you print that report out and look at your members and see when they're set to come in for their services. Might be a good time to reach out to people who maybe haven't scheduled any services yet but purchased a program. That will be able to do, then you're doing your 210-20 or 210-30 follow-up with that at the same time, right? So have them come in 20 minutes before their next service appointment to do this. Members give less objections and pushback to a sale when it's done in the style of protocols and requirements that is shown above. It's not you selling them, it's them selling themselves based on the answers of their personal spot profile, what they want their product and service regime form to compute it to be, and they see that it's in the order to achieve and accelerate what they'll need to get the products necessary. So that's super important. They came in for a reason. They were 50% sold when they came in. You sold them completely, so they're going to be much easier to be able to do this with. So super, super important. Follow these instructions. And if you want to get any further training on this afterwards, just let me know. Now here's a training moment alert, guys, and I want you to pay it. Hopefully you're awake. I didn't lose you. When you're in a situation where you're noticing that you're down in retail and you need to catch up to your membership cash and your new members percent to goal, pull the new member report in Spot Intel. Get everyone who's signed up over the last 2 to 3 months or more, and have a skincare consultation appointment scheduled. We just talked about this, but if you want to narrow this down to be just like an overall, I don't want to do this task myself, it's going to take up too much time, divide up the number of members that come up in that report among, if I have 3 consultants, I'm dividing that in 3 evenly. And I'm saying this group's yours, this group's yours, this group's yours. Guys, talk amongst yourselves, figure out who sold who. If you guys want to say, you know what, I sold this member, switch, that's fine. But these are your designated people to reach out to. Schedule this appointment ASAP. If you have the same staff, the consultant who sold them, like we just now talked about, let them do that because the relationship is already created there. So that's why it's important to let them switch up, especially if they feel more confident that they can sell, and it'll increase their likeliness to buy from people that they already like. So that's just a training moment for you guys, managers on the call. If you're ever in a situation like that, I'd actually recommend that you do this anyway after today's call. Consumer type 2, tools to use when you're selling any retail to a new customer. I just bought 1 month from you, right? A testimonials book, the product service regime form builder, and their completed personal spot profile from their tour. Again, if they didn't complete it, have them complete it. Chances are you're likely to allow a walk-in guest or a red appointment to use services before you try talking to them about the different programs. They need to be sold, right? The specific consumer type, they're not sold on you. That's why they didn't make a commitment. So in your tour, the chances are they had to use some stuff first. Well, you could still use the the products and service regime form for these people, because that's going to, when you approach them towards the end of their month, if I'm a 1 month paid in full purchaser, chances are when you go to approach them later on and they have had all of these consultations, they've seen the value and being a part of that location. If you approach them 2 weeks before it's out and you want to buy back those 2 weeks and implement it towards their enrollment, they're going to they're going to be more likely to make that commitment with you and take that leap based on using this form, because it's providing them the results that they've seen so far, right? So you could still use that for being able to compute the products that go along with the services that they're going to be using, even if it's just, guys, for 1 day. Improvise, let me go ahead and put you set up. This is just our protocol. Even though you're just going to be in here for a day of spa tomorrow because we did a consultation today, this is just a lineup of what you're going to need. you want to go ahead and take care of getting these products now, or do you want to wait until tomorrow whenever you come in to get set up with that? Even if it is just for a 1 day of spa or a 1 week spa, set up their entire week for that. And these types of consumers are not sold on you. They're not sold yet on you, your spa, your staff, or any of these products just yet. So at this point, it's still just a date. You're looking at this person like you need to court them, right? So it's just a date at this point with you, the consultant, of course. If they don't like you or feel as if that you know what you're talking about, if you just sort of approach them the wrong way, it's going to be a no-go. So don't waste any of your time doing that. You need to make sure that your consultants, yourselves, you're all set up and understood that you have to follow these specific protocols and that you're doing it confidently in your delivery. So you're going to be using their answers from their PSP, and that's going to assist you in convincing them that you're confident and enthusiastic about what you're going to get them set up with when you address what they're going to be doing and with what products. I got another alert for you guys, a little tip here. Hopefully you guys do this. Print up a ton of the products and service regime forms. Staple them to the back of the personal spa profiles. So for those of you who are currently using the personal spa profiles, hopefully all of you get on board with that sooner than later if you're not. But for those of you who are currently using it, you guys probably already have the clipboard set up ready to go behind your podiums, just with your personal spa profile, right? So what you should do is take and print up a bunch of these regime form builders, right? And you want to put them behind the personal spa profile. And because it's an editable document, you can put for consultant use only at the top if you need to, or you can write it on there, but put it behind there. That way, whenever new people come in and they're filling out their PSPs, they turn the page, they see that there's like some kind of form here, but it says spa consultant use. So instantly and off the bat, it just seems like it's a protocol that you're using as a consultant, not a salesperson, as a consultant. It's going to seem like that's a protocol you're just following based on what they're providing to you. So what that does is that brings their guard down that you're about to try and sell me or you're going to push me to buy something, right? That's going to make me feel personally like you are going to give me what I need based on what I walked into today. So print up a ton of those, staple them to the back of those PSPs that you have ready and waiting, ready to go for the next people that come in, and just have that ready. All these, again, are available in Orion, and based on your equipment mix at your location, be sure, because it's a Word doc, you're going to have to edit it because it does provide every equipment that we have on there, and you're going to have to remove any of those specific tables or boxes, cells within the table that you don't have that specific service on. The third consumer type, a couple of tools to use whenever you're selling in those this specific consumer, any type of retail, the veteran member. A new personal spa profile to fill out because chances are the veteran member that's been with you for 2 years has not filled out a personal spa profile ever. And if they did, it'd been a year, 2 years, even 6 months ago. Anything 3 months or more, really and truly, the chances are they probably don't have one or it's outdated. People's goals change. I originally signed up when I was going on a cruise, and I'm still a member with you guys. My goal back then was I wanted to look like Cindy Crawford in a bathing suit. My goal now is I'm just trying to stay looking dark. Maybe I just want to keep my color up for the summer and I'm too lazy to go outside. So, my goal is completely different. So if I'm going to go and approach you about something, I need to know what I'm approaching you about because I need to know your goals so that you buy from me. So a new PSP, products and service regime form builder, skincare consultation forms, possibly if they have the time, right? Your veteran members will come to you in 2 types. Even your veteran members are broken down into 2 different consumer types. There's the frequent and then there's the rogue veteran. The frequent veteran is the one that I talk about bringing brownies for your birthday. The rogue, the one that you're afraid to call to collect from, or you're afraid to call about MAP party because your franchisee says call or text everyone about MAP coming up. I'm scared because they're going to call back and say I totally forgot I had a membership and they're going to want to cancel, right? That's the rogue one. So your more frequent visitors are they're more likely to slow down and talk to you versus your rogue members. They tend to have relationships with the staff. We talked about this. So they're going to be a lot easier to be able to discuss and have the conversations with. They have this, they also have a not frequent visitor, the rogue, right? They have this whole aura or this idea in their mind that, hey, I've been doing this for a while. I'm fine with how everything is. I don't like change. Leave me alone, right? They have that person, and then they have the excited veteran member. they want to just continue with their membership or their program, with being as least costly as possible. That's why it's important to reassess their goals and do a new PSP. Let that sell them, because you're not going to break down those walls, guys, with conversation. It's just not going to happen. And if you do it, then that's amazing. I want your testimonial to study you. But as far as your not so in touch members, outreach to them of any sort is necessary, not to only retain them, but to get them using services again with the products. Calling, email, sending card, etc., etc., etc. If you're still not sold on that, just keep this in mind. Reaching out to the people that may or may not remember that they have memberships or programs with you, in fear that they're going to say, hey, cancel me, I didn't even know I still had that. Guess what? You still have 30 or 60 days with them. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. I'm glad that I was able to call, reach out, remind you, inform you about this. That's not a big deal. I can definitely put this request in for you to my spa director. So, he or she will be reaching out to you shortly regarding your request to cancel. However, you're still going to have your 30 or 60 days with us. So why don't we go ahead and make it worth your while? Let me get you in here, use these services. I mean, they're paying for it anyway, right? So what you're doing there is you're buying time to be able to win them back over. If they come in there and they get on a habit because you set them up on a regime and they're using services, because why not? They still have to be with you for another 30 or 60 days, depending on their specific program that they have. So win them back over. That's the time that you're buying to win these people back over. And if you don't, they can do their one-time transfer to their friend or their family member, or they'll freeze and say, you know what, I will come back. But can I just freeze it for a couple of months? Because I know for a fact I won't be able to use it. So it's a good member retention tip as well. Here's another management tip alert for you guys. Hopefully you're writing this kind of stuff down, because it's going to help you, I promise. For specific veteran member, print up your active EFT members report, okay? By name, type, either one, doesn't matter. This is in your reports button on your Spa Intel. From there, divide out the number of members to your spa consultants the same way we just now discussed. Distribute them out evenly. These members that each consultant will be given will need to be contacted and invited into the spa to get updated on their goals. Here, they're going to eventually invite them in for the PSP to be filled out. They'll get set up on their regime and their services and products. And the consultant they'll have that filled out for them to look at, to understand, to take it home with them. And that way you can even not only get some retail sales driven in before the end of the day, but you're going to get this member coming back in using the services for you to be able to have conversations with about referrals. So you can even get red appointments from it. Okay, so I'm gonna drive this point home. If you've heard nothing at all on this call, I'm gonna drive this point home more than ever, and hopefully this drills into your head and you're writing this down. Here's my advice. Here is our tip. Here is our suggestion. Actually, here's our requirement. Do not ask questions like, so do you want to get this done today? Or would you like to come in and do this? They're 90% of the time going to say no. I don't have time. No thanks, because you're asking me a yes or no question. That, to me, you're giving me an option. This is the least of my priorities in my life right now because I got so much going on. When I think about it, I'll call you. That's typically what you get in questions that you open up like that. Transition out of the consultation into the sale with statements like, I'm super excited to get you set up now, Miss Mary. Let's go ahead and get you set up with your new amazing products and start accelerating these results now. I'm ready for you to start seeing results. I'm ready for you to start feeling your best, looking your best. I'm ready for that because that's my job. That's why they hire me, right? I'm to consult people. So that's a tip for you. That's a task for you. Definitely try that. Definitely use that. Lastly, the veteran customer, the ones that always come in and buy 10 sessions, the ones that you're like, oh my God, why won't you become a member already? Tools to use. A new PSP to fill out, regardless. I don't care if they filled one out last week. Fill one out again with you. Products and service regime form builder. They need this. Your veteran customers are any customer using your facility, again, without an EFT membership. So these customers will come in 3 different forms. Same way the members came in 2 different forms. So we have the commitment phobes, right? Won't commit to an agreement with you or any commitment at that. So they're fine with paying as they come in. It's really just, taking no effect on their life. They don't really care. So why are you caring so much? Why do you keep talking to me about this? The quote-unquote burn victims. They don't like things coming out of their bank accounts. They've been burned before. My identity was stolen, or the gym sent me to collections. No, never again. I'm never giving my account information over ever again. Uninformed. The uninformed people, right? They were just never told because, in months and years past, somewhere along the way, the staff that was in the location that you're sitting in right now just never did ask. Never talked about the memberships or the programs, never talked about the products, helping them get there where they need to be. But hey, they're willing to do anything if it means that they're going to look better, right? So this customer is probably going to be the best customer type of your veteran customers there is, the uninformed. Regardless of which category your customers fall into, one thing remains the same. They all need some type of products for whatever it is that they're using. Every service requires a product. Even a massage, guys. Even a massage, you can actually get the upsell. You can get the eye masks. Why don't we go ahead and do an eye or a lip treatment or a forehead mask or a neck mask? Or let's go ahead and kill two birds with one stone. You can relax, right? And you can also get a little mini facial while you're in there. Or maybe the eye pillow, the aromatherapy eye pillows, something like that, right? Don't just ignore those who come in and out, never talking to you, never buying, right? They just haven't had their breakthrough yet. That's all that is, you guys. If you were trained from a previous employee who says, oh, that's just Mr. Joe, he comes in here, he never buys, so just don't bother him. And I am the consultant that's trained by this awful example of a person leaving or a spa director, so please don't ever say that. And I am that consultant. Guess what? Then that bad habits pass on to me, and I'm never going to talk to Mr. Joe. But guess what? Mr. Joe's been doing Mystic Tans since day one, and he had no idea that our Hydroderma Fusion treatment preps his skin and it'd make it look way better. He had no idea because one time, a long time ago, someone goes, hi, do you want to use maybe our new service, our Hydroderma Fusion treatment before you go in? No, thanks. I'm fine. I don't have time. Okay. And that's it. So these are breakthroughs, guys, that I thought was very important to talk to you guys about today because you don't think about that. You're just moving forward with some old habits that you don't consider. This person never buys. Why do they not buy? Who talked to them? When was the last time anybody even talked to them? You don't know that they don't like to talk. Someone told you that a long time ago, right? So regardless, everybody needs to do something to either prep or use in conjunction. I'm going to give you guys an example script, okay? So pay attention. Pay very close attention to this because this is an example of selling. Miss Mary, has anybody ever told you about our contour oil for hydration? It contains different oils like camellia, grapeseed, and lime oils, and it's applied before getting into the hydration station. Are you interested in purchasing this set all today, Miss Mary, before you go into your service? That's a sale. Now, how many of you right now are thinking to yourselves, this is what I do every day. I say these words, these exact words, maybe give or take a few, but these are the things that I'm talking about to my members. I want to pick it apart now. So the start off point, Miss Mary, has anybody ever told you about the contour oil for hydration? She's immediately throwing up a guard expecting a sales pitch with these words. She's going to close off to everything else that you're going to say, especially if Miss Mary is a penny pincher. It contains oils like camellia, grapeseed, lime oils, blah, 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 blah. She's not hearing benefits. What she's hearing an ingredients list. And she didn't go to the grocery store yet, so she doesn't need to be looking through the ingredients right now. Only certain features, right? It confuses customers if they're not skin experts, unless you're speaking to an esthetician or you're speaking to a biochemist. They don't care that grapeseed oil's in there. They don't care what that lime oil does. They just want to know what it's going to do for them, right? Also, she wrapped it up with an open-ended question. So guess what Miss Mary said? Miss Mary said no. She didn't discuss the benefits, only some features, right? But more importantly, she did not explain to her that it's going to aid in giving her the results. Why is Miss Mary going into the hydration station in the first place? Does consultant A, who took the member who had the service appointment, does she even know what her goals were? Why is she doing the hydration? Is it for relaxation, or does she actually have a skincare goal, right? So she did not explain what it's going to do for her to help her hit her results. Therefore, there's no value in it for Miss Mary. She signed up to receive it's going to aid her in the results that she signed up to receive in the first place. Therefore, the spa salesman did not consult this member into buying retail. All right, so you guys saw what you're probably currently doing now. Now I'm going to show you what you have to do in order to change that. It's much bigger, right? But when we think about consulting and you think about they're answering your questions, you're supposed to be providing what they need. So here's an example of consulting. Hey, Miss Mary, while you wait for us to prepare that Hydroderma Fusion service, I wanted to ask you, how are you doing with your results from it? Allow Miss Mary to talk to you. Let her say, oh, it's fine, or oh, it's amazing, or oh, I just really go into it because I just want to take a nap. Whatever she answers. Okay, well, you know what? Hopefully you're using that contour oil daily because not just whenever you come in here for services. It's actually crucial to being able to see the drastic changes much quicker than compared to not using it enough or even at all. It's going to assist you in breaking up those fatty acids. It's going to allow to expel from your pores much, much faster and easier when aiding Enhance with that whenever you signed up. So the Enhance that you purchased when you signed up, using this in conjunction with it, it's going to make you see those results much quicker. Allow her to respond to that. Chances are she's going to go, oh my goodness, I wasn't even using the contour oil, right? So I was just getting the Enhance. Oh, you weren't? My goodness. Well, you know what? That's why you're not where you want to be yet, Miss Mary. This is our fault for not informing you on all these things that you could be doing. So I apologize, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fix this now. So let's go ahead and get you started with this today. And I'm going to have your product and regime builder form completed up front here with this for you to bring at home with instructions by the time you're done and you're out of your Hydrodermafusion treatment. Picking it apart, you're asking how you're doing, starting that off with, right? How are you doing with this product? You're not saying, are you interested? Do you want? You're asking how you're doing it. So they're going to be much more confident and much more comfortable in answering you. She slowed her down. Guys, this is important. You've heard me say this on Monday Motivation calls. She slowed her down, saying that the service was still being prepped. Regardless, it was ready. It was ready for Miss Mary in the back. But you know what she said? While we get it ready for you, I just wanted to ask you, how much are you loving that contour oil, right? She bought that time right then and there. So if you're saying that they're wanting to go in and out, they don't stop, you can't slow them down, it's because chances are you're waiting until that they're on their way out or they're on their way in for an appointment that you booked for them and they didn't have the time because you've already told them that the service was ready. When we talked about the contour oil and its features and benefits, here we're providing information based on highlighting the benefits of the product and knowing Miss Mary's goals. I know Miss Mary was using this for specific skincare goals, and I went ahead and I didn't discuss anything about the ingredients in there. All I did was talk about how it works hand in hand with the Enhance to help her hit her goals faster. And lastly, she not only made up for the mistake and apologized for not providing this information beforehand, but she assumed the sale and she set up the instructions for the at-home use. This promotes continued sale of the specific product. And the spa consultant, now due to the way she handled the situation in a customer experience situation by apologizing for not having informed her, that actually made Miss Mary feel a lot more comfortable with her. So guess what? Miss Mary's going to be buying a lot of contour oil now. So do not attempt, okay? We're about to talk to you. I'm about to tell you and wrap this entire thing up with what not to do anymore. Moving forward, make a swear jar in your spas if you have to. Put $1 in, put $0.25 in, whatever you need to do. Use that money at the end of the month to take people out to eat, have some drinks depending on the age of your staff. Do whatever you want with it. But if your approach to your customer or member with the following, if you're approaching them, they're 99.99999% sure to turn you down for your retail sale attempt. How are you looking on your products? Oh, I can't even say that. It makes my nerves bad. How are you looking on your products, Miss Mary? I look great on my products. My products look great on me. Thanks for asking. Have a nice day. That is not how you approach a retail sale. That's not how you approach a product sale. So if you ever hear yourself doing that, I'm going to pull an old JP terminology here. If any of you remember JP, shoot yourself. Please don't really shoot yourself. That's just a term I'm saying. The other thing on what not to say, and spa directors, this is a training moment for your staffs. Write this down and drill this point home. Swear jars, I'm not kidding. Are you okay on your lotion? Are you good with your products? Every time, guys, they're going to say no. Every time they're going to say yes. I'm sorry. Every time they're going to say yes, they don't want to be bothered because then what do you become? The car salesman. You become the people chasing them in the mall and in the kiosk, right? So keep that in mind. Do not ask those questions. Do not start that off with those questions. Those are not the questions to ask. You will fail. So here are a few ideas. If you guys got on this call to get ideas, here are a few ideas to boost your retail sales, to implement at least now anyway. In your weekly team huddles, I'll stop there. If you're not having weekly team huddles, write it down to start implementing. 15, 20 minutes tops. It can take, but everybody coming together at one time. If not everybody can make it, have them call in on the phone and put them on speaker. That's the best advice I can give you. So if in your weekly team huddles, pick a product that you want the staff to focus on selling, like your very own product of the week, basically. Put a goal in place for how many of each consultant needs to sell. This was a tip that I took from a top spa here in the New Orleans market. That she was doing specifically for items that were maybe skincare items that they never pushed or sold. Like nobody ever bought it because nobody ever knew about it. She'd say, hey, listen guys, this week, this is the product. That we're having it 10% off, 15% off. We're highlighting this. Each one of you need to sell X amount of these. That totals in this dollar amount for each of you and this much in commissions for each of you. What I did there, I put a specific goal in place that was time-based. It's measurable because we're able to see it based on our point of sale software, right? So we're able to see how many each is selling for accountability reasons. It's realistic, and it's also providing the deadline, and it's providing the motivation to your staff. You're going to make this much in commission. I want you to make more money here. You said you want more hours. This is not what I'm not going to give you more hours, but I will give you this goal. Sell 10 Energize this week. That's your goal. If you sell 10 Energize, that hits this specific goal, and you're going to bring in this much extra on your paycheck next payroll. Another tip for boosting your retail sales: when coming in for your shift, get a paper and pen. Sort through each member's service appointment and appointment book. Check their retail purchase history, their service history to see which products they don't currently have that matches their service usage, so that you're prepared to discuss the importance of the investment with the specific products that they need to get. This is all this is, guys, on the call. Leaders on this phone call, on this training, franchisees, spa directors, whoever is on here. This is literally breaking it down and dummy proofing it. Okay, this consultant's going to work during these hours. Here's the members that are set to come in on appointments at least. You need to sell this person this. You sell this person this. You sell this person this. Now that I told you what you need to do, I'm going to show you how you do it, because now I have these members coming in while I'm training you, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it on them. They're going to watch you do it, and then you're going to have them do it back on you in a role play. What did I just do? Tell, show, do. That way, later on, if they don't hit those goals, you can ask them, what's going to help me get you to learn this? How am I failing you? How am I not helping you, motivating you, training you, teaching you? How is this happening? Tell me, I want to fix it. Lastly, pull your active EFT member by type report in your software. We talked about this already. Divide those up. Designate each staff member to reach out and schedule an appointment to get an updated PSP and a skincare consultation. This will get some random at-home sales, random last-minute sales in for retail. You'd be surprised how many people would appreciate that. Do it today and tomorrow after work, whatever it takes, but do a tell, show, do training for them. So I do appreciate you guys' attendance. A couple of different things that I do want to cover, that I do want to drive home with you guys in case you have to put the phone down every now and then and you didn't hear certain specific parts of this webinar, of this training on products of retail. A couple of different things. Your approach is everything. What you look like is everything. What you sound like is everything, right? So be sure that those three, when you guys are evaluating staffs and you hang up today, and before you do these action items, talk to your staffs, do an evaluation on them, see what those three things are like, so that you know where you're identifying those gaps, where are those weaknesses, and what you need to do to train and fix those things. So those three things: look, approach, what they're saying. That's something that you got to take into consideration. Print up all the documents we discussed earlier, the regime builder, the personal spa profiles, right? Attaching those two, we want to do that. And understanding the profit margins and everything coming out is key. Paying attention to your retail goal right now, that seems to be the only focus that you have, but your approach is what's failing you, and the discounting has got to stop. You're not confident in if you're not confident in the products, if you don't believe that the product itself is going to help enhance in the service, if you have staff that doesn't believe that, then you will not be successful here. You will fail at this, and the franchisee is going to ultimately be paying to sell products. So take a look at that. Also, the opening questions, those scripts, important to take from this entire training. Do not ask, are you good with your products? Are you okay with your lotion? Do not open that up with that conversation. And how are you looking on your products? And, when you're standing in front of a shelf, if a customer's standing in front of a shelf, was there anything there that you were interested in hearing anything about? No, I'm just looking is what's going to be that answer. So those three questions, eliminate it. I don't care if you need to write it on a poster board and put it in your offices and in your maintenance rooms, wherever it goes that people put their stuff away at, put it in big, bold letters. This is non-negotiable. You cannot start this conversation off. Just start the conversation off with, so what are you using? Are you loving it? I mean, I'm thinking about getting it myself. So what's your feedback? Because I'm getting mixed reviews. And then use that as your lead-in, your approach, right? After that, it should be smooth sailing. So if you have any questions regarding this training, or if you want further products and retail training on the what, right, the knowledge, the product knowledge, your retail department does offer that to you guys every day, every week. They have their monthly webinars now, so make sure you contact them. But if you have more specific retail training requests as far as product pairing, skincare consultations, the when, right, what to pair it with, Danielle, just help me, period, put together a plan. That would be me, so you can just go ahead and request that with me via email. That's my email address that you see on the screen, danielle.rapolo@planetbeach.com. And I'll be more than happy to set up a training with you or even your retail specialist. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. My little eagles, you're amazing. You're awesome. Now I want you to hang up, go do these action items because you can do this. You got this. I have all the faith in the world in you because you guys are 100% no doubt the most impressive eagles that we have because you have attended this webinar in the first place. So without further ado, have a great day. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you start selling the heck out of products. And we'll talk to you on the Monday Motivation Call on Monday. Bye, guys.